In this video, we will explore a very unique and powerful option of implementing asynchronous Apex in Salesforce, which is Queueable Apex. If you are not sure what is asynchronous Apex or execution and how it is different from synchronous execution, I would recommend you to click on the I button link and watch my video where I have explained the concepts of synchronous and asynchronous execution in detail with a real life example. So let's get started with the Queueable Apex. Queueable Apex allows us to execute an Apex code in the background without blocking the main execution of the Apex code, which calls the Queueable Apex. This is similar to the future methods in terms of execution. However, it offers certain advantages over the future methods that makes it more efficient and more useful. Before you continue watching this video, I would recommend you to click on the I button and watch my video where I have explained in detail what future methods are and how they work with an example. Having this understanding of the future methods will be helpful for you, as we will be referring to the future methods while talking about Queueable Apex in this video, as in general these two options are used commonly for asynchronous processing. Let's continue with our video by understanding how the Queueable Apex works in Salesforce. For this, we need to create a class, and that class should implement the interface Queueable. Note that implementing this interface is very important, as otherwise Salesforce will not recognize this class as a Queueable Apex class. This interface makes it mandatory for us to implement a method named execute, which should accept a parameter of type Queueable context. This method should be an instance method and should return void. Inside this method, we should write the logic that we want to execute asynchronously. Looks very simple and straightforward, right? Let's try to understand this with a very basic example. For this, we will create a new class UpdateAccountsQueueable. Once the developer console creates this class with a dummy code, we will implement the interface Queueable. Inside this class, we will implement the interface method execute. Inside this method, we will query the 15 account records in the instance where the annual revenue is not null using an SQL statement. Then we will write the for loop, and inside that for loop, we will iterate over those 15 account records and increase the annual revenue of every record by 10%. Outside of the for loop, we will use the DML statement update to update those account records. Here we are done with the implementation of a class with the interface Queueable. Now it's time for us to execute this. For this, we will go to the developer console's execute anonymous Apex window, and here we will create an object of the class UpdateAccountsQueueable. Then we need to call the method enqueueJob of the class system to ask the Salesforce to run the execute method of this class by passing the object of that class as a parameter to the enqueueJob method. Once done, we will click on the execute button. Now, if we observe the logs tab of the developer console, we can notice that two logs were generated. First one is for the Apex code that we executed from the execute anonymous Apex window, and second one is for Queueable Apex class's execute method, which got executed successfully. Hope this example helped you understand at a high level how to implement a Queueable Apex and how to execute it. As I said in the beginning, future methods and Queueable Apex are very similar in terms of execution. However, there are some differences in terms of how they are implemented and executed. Let me summarize these differences for you. We can pass only a single or a collection of primitive data types as parameters to future methods. However, we can pass any type of data to Queueable Apex by creating member variables of the Queueable class and assigning values to them from the calling Apex code. Calling future methods does not return any asynchronous job ID using which we can track the status of the job. However, calling the method system.enqueueJob returns to us an asynchronous job ID using which we can track the status of the job through either Salesforce UI or programmatically. From future methods, we cannot call another future method. However, from a Queueable Apex, we can execute another Queueable Apex class to form a chain. This way, using Queueable Apex, we can implement a serial execution of asynchronous processes if necessary. Now, let me conclude this video for you while sharing some best practices for using Queueable Apex. Chaining jobs sparingly. One of the greatest strengths of Queueable Apex is job chaining. However, this sometimes can lead to problems as you might run into governor limits. Also, long-running chained jobs can slow down the other synchronous or asynchronous executions in the system, as these chained jobs may keep the resources locked for a longer duration. Error handling and logging. Since this is an asynchronous execution and it's very much possible that the execution may fail due to exceptions. So consider logging exceptions in the database to troubleshoot the failures later after the execution. This is important especially whenever you chain the jobs, as even though you can track the status using the job IDs, if any of the execution fails in a chain, the subsequent executions in the chain might fail. Be mindful of governor limits. There are certain Queueable Apex specific governor limits that do not allow us to enqueue more than a certain number of jobs in a specific Apex transaction. So make sure that the code that gets executed as part of the Queueable Apex does not cause excessive Queueable Apex jobs to get enqueued. Finally, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Share this video if you think this will help someone understand the explained Salesforce concept. Do not hesitate to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications about my videos, as I will be sharing such interesting Salesforce content to help you in your Salesforce adventure. Lastly, write to me in comments if you have any questions regarding any Salesforce topic or you want me to create a video about that topic. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.